Alright guys, today we're going to be discussing the Darksaber. This particular iteration was made by Solo's Hold and it is based on the Rebels version of the lightsaber. There are about 3 different renditions of this saber. We have the Clone Wars version, which is the first time the saber was seen. We have the Rebels version of this, which is this version. And then we have the Mandalorian version, which nobody has produced yet. I've seen some folks on the RPF design their own, and they look pretty good. But my understanding is that nobody's actually produced one of those in metal yet. I do believe Solo's Hold has some plans to do so once more reference material is available. The differences between this and the other iterations, I mean, the original version, the edges are slightly rounded off, the proportions are a bit different. It's dark. I mean, this one came machine finished, so as you can see, it's not painted, not weathered. So there's some work to be done on this. As far as this lightsaber is concerned, I think that the only people who've produced this lightsaber in metal has been Solo's Hold, which is this version, and this is known as Project Darkstar, and also the Pack Store, or Pock Store, however you want to call it. That saber is called the Shadow Blade. I believe they're on version 2 or version 3 now, and that one's not entirely accurate. It looks a lot more like the Clone Wars version with the different proportions and rounded off edges, but again, that one is not as accurate. One of the big differences between the two, though, are the cost, right? So this one is about $665 right now if you go to Solo's Hold's website, and the Pack Store's version is about $99, and both are for empty. So uninstalled sabers, no electronics. And these are the 2 buttons. So you would use these for your tactile switches later. Another one here. See some of the fine detail throughout. See some of the machining work. Came pretty clean. Mine didn't have any real scratches or dents on it whatsoever. The construction is pretty cool. I mean, I'm typically not a fan of using a bunch of magnets, which is the case for this saber. They also included, well, they not include, but for an additional cost, they manufactured a blade that is pretty accurate to the show as well. It's thin. It comes out of this thin slot. Requires a custom rig for a NeoPixel type blade, but they do have. It is possible. It is feasible. Some guys on the Rebel Armory have done it, and I believe NerfWorks has started to kind of provide some tutorials and some insight on how they went about doing it on their own. There were some issues with the blade itself and having to shave it down. I do plan on getting it sooner than later, just to finish this up. But yeah, this one still needs a lot of work. As far as construction is concerned, like I said, they utilize a lot of magnets here. So this part comes off. It's held on via magnets. So if you can see internally, there's a bunch of recessed holes there, right? On this end, you have a bunch of recessed holes as well. Okay, so the idea is you glue magnets in this hole, you glue magnets into this hole, and then they line up. I haven't completed it. I've started it, but I haven't completed my installation of magnets yet, primarily because it's time consuming. All right, and this is used for blade retention when your blade is in. It's like a brass greebly here, right? You have these 2 set screws which hold these 2 pieces together. So how this is constructed, let me take it apart for you here. It's pretty ingenious. I do think that the set screws are pretty well hidden, especially once you start to dirty this thing up. You probably won't be able to see them too easily. This whole thing is made out of aluminum. Okay, so that's the first set screw you take out. Right, you have another one on the back end, so it is pretty secure. This does take glue as well, as I will show you. I probably won't show you, but yeah. So let's set screw. So once you have that done, you can pull this part out. Okay, so you see the top comes off. This part slides off. You have a bunch more magnets here. This slides into here. Pretty straightforward. And again, you can take these two off, and this splits in half. Right. This part also comes off. I don't know if you can see the little gap there because I don't have it completely glued in yet. But there's two like dial pins that go, fit through both ends to make sure you line it up correctly, and you can just glue it. Okay. So as you can see, this is pretty magnet heavy. You have a bunch of magnets here. None on that side. This is the hole for your cabling and wiring to go up to the connectors that you will be using for your NeoPixel. Okay. Set that here. This part, again, you have your two switches. And ideally, should put some lubricant. Okay, so as you can see, I have a plate here, base plate. I have a little bit of tape in there now just to hold these buttons in place. You have this bottom piece. This inner part comes out. Okay, so you see the recessed portions for your set screws on both sides. More magnets, as you can see. So it's a lot of magnets. So essentially, this fits in here. You see where your blade would go through. It's just like an empty rectangle. Okay, this probably took a block of aluminum to make. You have a step here, and here's the faceplate. So as you can see, the faceplate has a bunch of holes for magnets. Okay, so the faceplate, it's the machining is really good. You can't see any gaps when it's in, so the tolerances are really tight. Overall, pretty pleased. Wasn't a cheap hilt by any means, but it's kind of what you can expect from Solo's Hold. I have a few of their hilts, and machining tolerances are always really tight. Okay. Again, section here. Fit in perfectly like this. There you go. Here's a little click. One side in. I'll leave this off for now since I have no magnets to hold it in place. So generally my thoughts is that this looks really cool. It's really different. I have a bunch of sabers, and this one stands out as being different. I do want to finish it, kind of darken it up and weather it a little bit, just to bring out some of the details as well. See, you have all of these very minute edging details throughout. It looks really crisp, really sharp, really well done. Machining marks kind of stand out now, but they will disappear once you add some weathering. Again, the edges are pretty sharp. They are sharp enough to cut you if you try to cut yourself, you could, but just typical gripping and holding, I don't see that happening. In general, there's no real way either to have this attached to your belt, or if you're doing cosplay or anything like that. There's no real way to have this attached. There's no cover tech or loop, so you kind of have to come up with a way to do it yourself. I believe in the show they have like a sheath sort of thing. It comes out of the back like a samurai sort of, or not a samurai, a ninja sort of thing. Mine did come with these marks. I don't know if you can see those. It looks like just some grease or some type of leftover residue. I don't know what it's from, but I'm sure I can clean that. I haven't really tried to yet, but it did come like that. As you can see, the details are pretty immense here. Even on the bottom of this, you have these very minute details. So I do believe that Aaron and the Nerfworks folks did this version of the Saber justice. I can't wait to see what they do with the actual Mandalorian version, as I'm sure that one's going to be pretty popular. Hopefully the price isn't too crazy. But yeah, no, in general, I do plan to install this in the future with the Profi and NeoPixel. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. You guys like it? You guys not like it? You guys plan on picking one up? I know this is pricey. You may be better off just going with the Pox Store version, considering that it's only $100, and this was $650, about $660, I believe. And that's without the blade. The blade itself is about $185, but it does look rather cool. So yeah, please comment, like, subscribe. I do have future plans. I'm kind of kicking this channel off now with this saber, but I do have a bunch of future plans for showing off custom sabers. I'm gonna compare them to master replicas. I'm gonna be doing installs for myself. Yeah, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and until the next time, have a good one.